Hello friends, welcome to the sixth video of the Java programming online course here. So we are continuing with the second part of core Java programming. The second part is continuing with the concept of classes. So we will be introducing with the classes, how to create the classes and how to make use of the object oriented programming concepts of Java in actual programming. Okay, let's revise it. In first video we have seen these concepts of classes already. A class is a user defined data type with the template that serves to define its properties. So most important thing here to understand what class creates is a new data type. Once defined, this new data type can be used to create the object of that type. Thus, class template for an object is the instance of the class. Object can also be called as a variable of type class. Now how to define the classes in Java? So already every program contains by default classes, but we can create our own user defined classes and we can make use of it, because object is the main, this core, center of object oriented programming. That's why in order to use the concept of OOP, we need to create and make use of the classes most effectively. See the syntax of using the classes. How to create the class? It creates a new type of the data. If you're knowing C++, so similar ways are used here. If you know only C, so if you are aware about the structure concept, in the same way here the classes are defined. So class, then class name, then data type, multiple data variable declarations, and then in multiple method declarations are present inside it. So simple syntax is shown over here. Let's see the application, how to create the classes. See, a country class I have defined here. A country class is defined here, and inside these three variables I am declaring: long population, float currency rate, and int number of states. So class and country. Okay, one thing you need to remember there, the name of the class should contain first variable or first character as uppercase. This is the common conventions used in Java programming language, but this is not a compulsion. This is a convention. This notation is used to create the classes. So while reading the names, this is the identifier, that the names which we provide. By reading the names of identifier, it can be easily identified that this is a class name. So to do this one, we are going to make use of the convention of the class by making first letter as capital. And in case of general variables, there also similar kind of concepts are there, but if multiple words are there, then first letter is lowercase and remaining words first letter is uppercase, that we can make use of it. In this way, the variable name generally notations are used inside it. Okay, so let's see what exactly the object is. Object is created by this method. So first of all, we declare the reference. This is a reference variable. For example, country class is created and I have given the reference variable as Japan. Okay, so it's created but not allocated with the memory. This Japan is called as the reference variable. Then if I want to allocate the memory to it, so Japan is equal to new country. In this way, new is a keyword which is used to allocate the memory to the object. So country is the constructor of the class which I am calling. I will talk about the constructor also in this particular video, and then the object Japan is created. Okay, and once it is created, then I can make use of its methods and variables after it. So let's go for the example and applications of this. Yes, the first example is the basic. Okay, this is what we have seen, how to create it. So my class is the name of main program, and above this particular class I am creating my own class, is called as country. See this one, class country. It contains three variables written inside it, not the methods. It's not present with any methods: long population, int number of states, and float currency rate. Okay, so these three variables are declared inside it, and this is how I created the object of it. Country Nepal is equal to new country. So Nepal is the name of the object which is created. So once object is created, memory to it will be allocated. Now Nepal, so Nepal is the object of type country, which will contain three variables: Nepal.population, Nepal.number of states, Nepal.currency rate. Okay, in this way. Now I will initialize this variable by user input. How to do this one? So here I am using the scanner object, and now system.out.print enter the population of Nepal. So I will ask the user to enter next long number. So I am entering a long number, and that long number I am storing into the variable population of Nepal. So Nepal.population will be this. Similar to that, I will enter the currency rate of it. then I'm getting the number of states. So this is how we can access it. The dot operator used to access the member variables and member methods from the respective object. Okay, so Nepal, once the object is created, remaining different all variables I can initialize by this particular method directly by using the dot operator here. Population, then currency rate, and then number of states. Once the data is entered, then I'm printing this on the screen as it is, population, currency rate, and the number of states. Only that's what I have done. Simple demonstration of creation of the classes and the objects. So here this is how the class is declared above all the classes. Okay, and the object I am creating over here. So that class should belong to the same package in which I am currently using it. So country, this is created, and Nepal is the name of the object. Similar to that, any such kind of objects are possible. Just in the presentation I have given the name Japan. So one more object we can create. Its population is different, number of states are different, its currency rate will also be different. Okay, so their structure is same, but the data is different. That's what we call as a data centric approach here. Okay, so let's run this file. Okay, so yes, I'll enter the population of Nepal, something like this. Okay, and currency rate. Okay, sorry, it should be a dot there, given a comma, so it's showing error. Okay, some number, then yes, the number of states are 12. Yes, so entered information is again printed on the screen. Just a simple demonstration of using the classes. This is how class can be declared, and we can make use of its variable out of this particular class. So I'll make use of this particular classes at some more effective level. So one more I just created here, my circle. Okay, so let's see this one. Here in it I've done some operations on the particular classes. So here I've declared one class called as the circle 1, and inside it radius, perimeter, and area, 3 variables are there. Radius is the main property of circle, and by using radius we can calculate the perimeter and area. Okay, so here I declared one variable called as pi. So basically, see, final is a keyword to declare a constant variable in Java. Float pi is equal to 3.14f. This is a floating point number. So this is how I created the object. Circle C is the object, is equal to new circle 1. Okay, so this is the object created methodology which is used over here. Now enter the radius. I am asking the user to enter the radius, read that radius, and store into c dot radius. So c is the object, radius is the attribute of that particular object. So inside it is printed, saved, and now I'll be using some formulas to calculate the perimeter. C dot perimeter is equal to 2.0f into pi into radius. Okay, that's what we are having the formula to find the perimeter of the circle. Okay, 2 pi r, correct, and area is equal to pi r square. So pi into float. So it's why I'm using float here, because I need to transform this data into floating point formats. Perimeter is a float, area is a float. Okay, that's why I'm doing this typecasting to temporarily convert this radius and this radius into float format. I'm doing this, and then I'm printing c dot perimeter, c dot area. See, 3 variables, radius, perimeter, and area are used here, but they are declared inside the class. And how do I make use of it? By using the object name dot the variable name, and based on that I'm performing the operations on this. Okay, so this is how the simple class and its variable can be created. Let's take one simple example of snapshot of this output. For example, the radius is 14, so based on that perimeter is calculated 87.92 and area is 615.44. So whatever operations I have done here, exactly same operations. Okay, they are working on the variables present inside the classes. Okay, simply we can perform any sort of operations on these particular variables or values, attributes inside the classes also. Okay, so this is what the objects are, classes and objects that can be created in Java. Now let's add the methods. Method means a function, simple function that we can call, and that can be added just like a main is a method. We can add n number of methods inside the classes also. So let's go for that. This my circle are extended towards the our circle. Yes, now check this. So in this particular program I've added 2 methods input. See, this is void input method I am added inside the class circle. Okay, so this method used to read the radius from the user. Okay, and calculate is to calculate the area and perimeter for the respective circle. So three parameters, three variables are the radius, perimeter and area, and void input. So this is how the methods functions can be added. A method or a function contains three important things there. A return type. Return type means method is not returning anything. Void, just like main contains a void. Input is the name of it, and parameters. So here no parameters are available. So I am not giving any parameters. When I am going to call this function, this method will work on these parameters only for the respective object. Okay, how to do this? So what I return inside it, while input, I'll read the radius from the user and store that into radius variable of this object. So I am directly using radius here because this method belongs to this particular class. So I can directly make use of this variable inside this method. Fine. So next int, I am reading it, storing in this radius. Second method, I am creating calculate. Okay, it's not returning anything, even not contains the parameters also. Okay, so here the perimeter is calculated just like previous example, but remember object is not used because these methods are directly having the access to the variables written inside the class. Okay, so area is calculated, then I am printing this perimeter and this area here. Fine, and here your method is completed and here the class is completed. So input and calculate, these are the two methods which are declared inside this particular class. And how to use them? Exactly in the same way that we have done for calling the variables of from the object. Okay, so let's see this. I'll just continue with actual use of it. This is how simple is that. See, here I am creating the object of it. Circle C is equal to new circle, and now this is the way I am calling the method from the object C dot input. So input method will be called for the object C, and calculate method will be called for the object C again. See, so how to do this one? Okay, so input method will be called, will ask to enter the radius, and radius will be entered from the user, will be stored here, and C dot radius is initialized. If you're calling input method for C, same case, if I'm calling C dot calculate, so it will calculate the area and perimeter for the object C only. So whatever data that C is containing, only for that this area and perimeter will work. Similar to that, I can create one more object D here. Circle D is equal to new circle, then D dot input, D dot calculate. Okay, so structure of the class will be same, only the data can be different. So you can have different data for one object and different data from first, second. Okay, n number of objects are there, but operations will work on that particular data stored inside the respective class. Okay, so this is how simple operations, simple methods can be added and how they can be used here. So let's run this code and check the output. So enter radius. So I am entering radius here. See, 75, 136 is the perimeter and 452 is the area of this particular circle. See, in this way. So similar way I am creating a program, but important thing here to mention that I have created the methods by which you are performing operations on the class attributes, class variables, and you are reading the data, initializing it, and we are performing some operations onto it by using calculate and then printing them on the screen. So this is how methods can be added in the program. This is how methods are possible. One more program is there, maxmin.java. I am giving along with this video. You just can try this and check the output of this particular code. Now there is a property that class is containing. It's called as constructor. What constructors are? Java allows object to initialize themselves when they are created. So when you create the object, at that time itself the first values of variables can be given. Just like in the previous example, I have given the value of radius from user input with the help of input function, but it's not like that. We are going to assign this value of radius to the object C when it is created. So how to do this one? This automatic initialization is performed through the use of constructor. The constructor initializes an object immediately upon the creation. It has the same name as the class in which it resides, and it is syntactically similar to a method. Once defined, the constructor is automatically called immediately after the object is created and before the new operator completes. Now how to do this one? Let's take the example, the same example which you are using in country. See, here these are the variables written, and now this is how the constructors are created. This is constructor. This is special member function whose name and class name are same. Okay, Here I given long x and int y. Okay, so whatever x and y I am passing as parameter to it will be assigned to the population and to the number of states for the respective object, and this is the display method which I am using here. Now let's use this application more effectively in the program. I'll show this concept in practical applications with the help of constructor overloading. Okay, so we'll combine these concepts together. Overloading means, what do you mean by overloading? Overloading means same name can be used for different purposes, different applications. In simple language, a class can have more than one constructor but with the different parameters. This is known as constructor overloading. So let's see the applications of this. So I'm creating one small program here, box class.java, by which we'll demonstrate the use of the classes. So let's see this. I'm creating a blocks where three parameters are present there, like height, depth and length. See, so okay, three parameters as created here in this class box, and this is what we call as a constructor. The name of the object and so class and name of the constructor are same. Here no parameters are present. This is what we call as default constructor without any parameters. Okay, this is two parameterized constructor which contains two parameters there. This is three parameterized constructor. Okay, so three parameters are present there. So whatever value you pass over here, this value will be passed to the object's respective variables. X is assigned to height and y is assigned to depth. Here x is assigned to height, y is assigned to depth and z is assigned to length, like this. So n number of such constructors are possible, but remember their parameters should be different. So that's what we call as constructors overloading. Same name but multiple parameters and different functions may be written inside this. Okay, so what's the application of the constructor now? So let's go for this. See, so what I've done here, this is how default constructor is called. This is the default constructor is called while creating the object. It means that when the default constructor is called, the statement inside this are executed. So for the first object, value of height, depth and length all will be 10. Okay, for first object created here, A. Okay, so A will be initialized automatically. First time I don't want to read the data from user, so what should be the initial values of that variables for the object present, that is demonstrated with the help of, that is applied with the help of the default constructor. So depth of A will be 10, this case. Now second case, see, so how to call the constructor? So pass that number of parameters here. So I am passing two parameters. It means that the constructor with two parameters will be called now. How to? So 12 and 23 will go here. Okay, here 12 will go in height and 23 will go to depth, which you pass while calling the constructor here. So let's make them clear. See this one, 23, 12 will go here, and height of this B object will be 12 and depth of this B object will be 23. Okay, and when you print depth, so depth will be 23 in this case. But what about the third parameter, that is length? Remember, third parameter will be by default 0. All these variables which are uninitialized in the object, they are initialized with 0 values or null values for character and false value for boolean. Okay, so like this they are printed. So here depth will be initialized for B dot depth will be 23, and in case of third constructor, just check it out. Third constructor contain x, y and z. So x is height, y is depth and z is length. So I am passing this. 99 will go in height, 84 will go in depth and 36 will go into length. Okay, so this is how we are passing the parameters to them. These parameters are passed and C object is created. So in this C object, now depth will be y, second parameter, 84 will be the depth of it. Okay, and all other values are initialized. There is no any uninitialized value present in the object C. So all height, length and depth, all three variables are initialized with their respective values passed as the parameter to the constructor, and we will be printing it. So as per the parameters passed, the respective constructor will be called, and first initialization of the variables will be performed through the use of constructor in this particular way. If I run this code, check it out. Depth of A, which is 10, all values I have given 10 there. Depth of B is 23, which I have initialized from the two parameter constructor, and third 84, which is initialized with 3 parameters constructors. Okay, so this is how we can make use of the constructors. So special member function, which is used to initialize the values inside the classes for first time when the object is created. That is what we call as constructor overloading. Okay, n number of constructors are possible to get created, and then we can make use of it. Now there is a keyword, specialized keyword used in Java called as this keyword. So let's see the application of this keyword. Many times then necessary to refer its own object inside a method or a constructor. In order to allow this, Java defines the this keyword. If you are familiar with C++, it is not hard to learn and understand the concept of this. Only the difference is that this is the object in Java and this is the pointer in C++. Java does not allow pointers, that's why this is the object. The this is used inside the method or constructor to refer its own object. That is, this is always a reference to object of the current class. It's very interesting to see this. We need some sort of practice of object-oriented programming to understand the perfect concept of the this keyword. So use of this, let's understand that. What do you mean by this keyword? Now let's see this. This keyword is used by the multiple number of times. Multiple ways are there by which we can make use of the this keyword. Now how to use this one? So here I have declared one class called as the planet. Okay, so this planet class contains distance, satellite and one day. 3 variables are present inside it and 3 constructors are given here. Planet, here planet with what parameter? Planet with 2 parameters. Okay, so here I am using the this keyword. So let's use some different mechanism here to understand with this. Now let's see this. So okay, see now 2 applications of this keyword I have shown over here. How to make use of it? This keyword used to refer its own object inside the class. How to see? So this constructor is containing a parameter long distance. So distance is a local variable for this constructor, and this distance I want to apply to this distance. So how to make the difference in that? This distance is applied to this dot distance. So this dot distance means object, this variable refers to its own, and this is a local variable. See, you can check the difference between these two. When I click on that, only these two are highlighted, and when I click on that, so it is these two are highlighted only. It means that this variable belongs to its own class object and this variable is not. When the names are same, that time we are going to make the distinction, the difference between these two by this mechanism, this dot distance and the distance. So this is object of the current class and this is variable of the current class. This is what we can make use of it. And even this is used to call the constructor also. How to see? Constructor number 3, when I am calling this constructor number 3, it will call the constructor with one parameter. So this value x will pass here. It will call the above constructor, will go here. So this x will be passed in distance, and from that distance will be initialized. Fine, in this way. Okay, distance will be initialized by this particular mechanism. And satellite is equal to y. So y will be the satellite parameters present over there. Getting this? So this is how we can create the constructors, and this keyword can be used. So this seems to be complicated initially, but very regularly we can make use of it. So 2 applications of these keywords are present here. First application is to refer its own object. So when you want to call the variables or methods of the own class, this keyword can be used. Or if you want to call the constructor, one constructor from another constructor of the same class, so we can make use of this. So this will call this constructor with the parameter which I have passed over here. Okay, so let's use this. So here planet is created, 452 will be the first parameter and 96 will second parameter. So 452 will go here, it will call this, and then distance is initialized for the current object by this method, and 96 will go here, it will directly apply to the satellite. If you write this here, then also it's okay. By default every variable is having this connected to it. By default it's present, it's not required there, but when it's required, when you're going to have the same names to the local variable also and the class variable also, in that case it will have the impact in the output. Okay, and to call the constructor also we are going to make use of this. Okay, so let's run this and check the output. Okay, distance 452, satellite 96, and one day is 0. See here, one day is 0 because it is not initialized, but I want to initialize that one day to 24. How to do this one? So I'll call above constructor here by using default parameter. So it will call the above constructor now here, and now one day will also get initialized by this particular method. Check it out, 24. It means that when I call this constructor, it will call this. Oh, how this chain of constructor are created? This constructor called this, and this constructor called this. So all three constructors are got initialized with the help of this chaining of the constructors, and I am printing these values on the screen by initializing the object p, and then p dot distance, p dot satellite, p dot one day, all three are initialized, and then they are printed on the screen. So this is how we can make use of the keyword called as this. So program is given to you, you just can practice it and check the output. Now we have seen the constructor overloading. Now let's talk about a different mechanism of Java programming language called as method overloading. What do you mean by method overloading? So method overloading, in Java it is possible to define two or more methods within the same name, same class, that are having the same name but their parameter declarations are different. In such case, methods are said to be overloaded, and this process is referred to as a method overloading. Method overloading is one of the ways of Java's implementation of polymorphism. This concept of method overloading is just same as the function overloading in C++. Now overloading, how to make use of the overloading, that we'll see by some two operations present over here. It's just like constructor overloading that just we have seen, means same name but different parameters are applicable. Okay, so same name and different parameters, how to make use of it? Let's go for the first method here. What was that? Yes, overloading.java. Let's see, overloading.java. Okay, so simple application I've shown over here. I declared a class maths. Inside that, two variables cal and val are declared, and now see the methods. Add with two integer return, add with one integer parameter, integer return, add with two floating point parameters and floating point return. Simply this is what we call as method overloading. Same name but different operations are done inside it. That is what we call as the method overloading. Add is the overloaded method present over here, and see their operations are different here. This is adding the number together and returning it. This is adding 10 into it and then returning it. This is adding these floating point numbers and returning it. Okay, so how to make use of them? Check it out. So here, okay, so let's delete this, not required. Okay, maths m is equal to maths. So m is the object of type maths class. Okay, this object is created here, and now I'm going to call the methods. How to? M dot add. Here 52 and 41 are passed. So first version of that method is called. Okay, first method, this one. Okay, see, you just can check this highlighted. When I click on this, this is highlighted. This version is called 52 plus 41. Both are integer, and it will return the integer and printed in front of it. Okay, and second case, add 52. See, this version is called, it's highlighted. When I click on that, 52, this is integer, and 10 is added, it will become 62. Okay, after that, this version, third version, if you want to call, some floating point values are passed here, 1.2f and 9.2f. So these two values are added together, and it's returned, stored in this val, and it's returned there. Okay, and then it's printed. This is how a simple and basic overloading will function. Check it out. See? Okay, see this one. So that is how the parameters, how the operations on this particular data is performed with the help of the concept called as method overloading. Simple and basic application is shown over here, and same I'll just inherit, I'll just extend to practical application of this by using the shape.java class. I'll just show this one also. So this is very simple example, and practical application of the overloading is shown inside it. How to? See, a class area I created. Inside this class area, I am declaring three different methods: area. So this area is finding the area of a square whose side is given there. This area is finding the area of a circle whose radius is given here, and this area find the area of the rectangle whose length and width are given over here. Okay, so they are multiplied. So you might be knowing the formulas for side square here, 2 pi r square, and this is length into width. This is rectangle's area. Okay, so their parameters are different, the return types are also different. Based on the parameter you pass, it will call the respective version of the method there. So remember, area and area, they are different. This is a capital, it's a class name, this is the method's name. So here I am creating the object area as is equal to new area, and 3 variables are declared. So first of all, I am going to call the area for the square. See, enter the square sides. So when I enter the sides of the square, so that I am reading x and passing that parameter to x. So it is integer parameter. So integer version of area will be called. See, they are highlighted here, area and this area above this one. Okay, and if you go to the next, I am entering the length and width of the rectangle. We read it, store in x and y, and pass it to the area. So here same area, here also area, but different versions of them are called. So if I click on that, you just can see they are highlighted. It means that this version of the method will be called this one. Okay, so it is multiplying these both numbers together and then finding the area of the rectangle. And third case, I am entering the radius, okay, of the circle in floating point format. If I click on this, see, above version of the area will be called. By using pi r square, the area of the circle can be identified, stored, and that will be printed on the screen. So this is how the application of method overloading lies. One method with same method name with different parameters can be used to create this particular mechanism here. As per the application, we can make use of it and perform the operations. Let's see, I'll run this. So square root of the square is 10. So this is first area of square, 10 into 10, and now length and width of the rectangle. So if you put 12 and 12 and 10, so it's 120 will be the area of the rectangle, and radius of the circle is 6. So pi r square, that is 113.04 is the area of the square. Okay, so this is how different versions of the methods are called with this mechanism, which is termed as the method overloading. Okay, so the first part of the object-oriented programming in Java is completed. Programs are given to you, you just can try by your own. We'll continue with the further topic with the next video. Thank you. Thanks a lot.